Before I start the video, I want to address the criticisms I got in the previous video regarding Tiki. Now, keep in mind I'm reading from a script. I'm really bad at explaining things in detail on the fly. So many people came up to me and said, dude, Tiki may be around 1,000 years old, but she's only been conscious for 10. So it makes sense that she'd act childish. To that I say, okay, yeah, that does make sense. I'd counter-argue by saying that if Mancoots were more evolved than humans, as the game implies, then they still at least wouldn't look 10 years old after a millennium, and their bodies would have matured. But that's actually an important plot point in Book 2. Book 2 really does absurd amounts of justice to the lore of Akinia, but anyway, yeah. I shouldn't have picked on Tiki, I apologize. Rather, I should have picked on the more recent incarnations of the Tiki archetype, since they also act childish even though they're super old, and don't have a good justification like Tiki does, which makes them seem pandering and badly written. I won't get into which ones my dislike is aimed towards, but I encourage you to look at these Tiki incarnations and think to yourself if they were made to create a compelling character, or because of laziness or pandering on the development team's part. Anyway, enough of that shit. Click! Oh, wow, that was a handful. All right, so yeah, what the fuck are we doing? We're gonna fight Camus and the Sable dudes, the guys that we skipped over a couple chapters back for no reason. And yeah, they live in Grunia, and this place is like one of the strongest places on the continent, even though it's surrounded by mountains and is a small fucking island. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, Macedonia, I think, is more convincing as a super strong nation, but this tiny fucking island with horses? I think not. Anyway. Yeah, so Grunia is all just like, oh, we're gonna kick your asses now. So yeah, they're led by Camus. This guy's a pain in the ass. He's surrounded by 3 paladins that don't move. They stand in place, so if you get in their range, that allows them to strike you, and it allows Camus to strike you, and that's usually a guaranteed kill. And here's our little dialogue here. Princess Nina is just like, oh, dude, don't kill Camus. He's my husband, dude. Which, you know, brings up a lot of questions. Like, didn't Camus murder her fucking family? Why is she so enthralled with this asshole? So many questions. Yeah, like, I mean, you're supposed to believe this, but the game, and this goes for the second game as well, they never show these two, like, having any sort of chemistry. You could look at the Gaiden DLC chapters in Fire Emblem 12, or the BS Fire Emblem that was released on the Super Famicom Saddle View thing. But yeah, that's all we get to know of them. I guess we're supposed to just assume they got along for a while, and you know, it's just something that really wants clarification. But yeah, Camus is a pain in the ass. I end up using Linda to take out his paladin dude so that I can land the final blow with Marth. Now, as for the rest of the chapter, I decided to only take 5 units because fuck it, man. I want to save time, and also, how many of these units am I actually using? Like, none of them, basically. I take this chapter as an opportunity to train up Linda. Now, Linda has grown to be an amazing unit. Her skill, beauty, and drive to achieve her cause has given her the highest rank in my army, and as the pinnacle of her long and successful career, she's going to commit mass genocide against all of Grunia. Isn't that just fucking awesome? But the way she's going to do this is she's going to use the Star Orb. Now, we got that in the previous chapter, and I didn't really talk about it, but basically what the Star Orb does is that all of your weapons have infinite use, and all of your growth rates are increased by 30%. Basically, what this means is that Linda can spam her super powerful tomes all she wants, and not give a single fuck. In addition, all of her growths are going to be skyrocketing, and every level up is going to make her, like, even better and increase her defense and all of her weak stats. and that's the hammer name, which repairs weapons, by the way, and out of nowhere, just S kind of shows up, and it's like, yeah, I was in that one chapter that was removed in the original game where you fought the Sable Knights, so instead they just put me here, and yeah, Camus just sort of released me, even though I'm helping you. Yeah, Camus is definitely a very conflicted dude, which I guess I can't blame him. But yeah, so Linda can spam shit. She gets crazy level ups in this chapter. The big issue is that, like, she doesn't start out super powerful. And she has to basically kill 4 paladins without getting hit more than once. And that caused a lot of restarts, but once you get past that shit, she's pretty much at the point where she cannot be stopped, because she's nice and you know, comfortable on a fort, and the enemies that are going to inevitably spawn from all those forts, the northern ones and the bottom ones, making a total of 8 units per turn, they're all just gonna kind of suicide on her because none of them are strong enough to really, like, deal significant damage to her, and she has high dodge rate. So yeah, she's just gonna murder the fuck out of everything. Marth, once the first 4 paladins are done, he's pretty much safe to visit that village and prevent that thief from taking it. And we get the hammer and staff, which I don't know if I'm ever gonna use, but it is worth noting that we don't keep the star orb forever. And in fact, I think we lose it in the next chapter because we meet up with Gato, and he's just like, hey, dude, I need to make a nice soup, the Starlighted Explosion, and I need 2 of your balls. Oh my god, that was so dirty. But yeah, so there is a use for the Hammond staff. Oh, and here's where Marth uses his amazing diplomacy powers. He's just like, dude, you know, you're basically causing the extinction of the human race by siding with the Durhua Empire. Why don't you fucking use common sense and just, you know, join our side? And Camus is just like, no! Tradition and family values! Even though I am a complete fucking twat, I'm not gonna do the right thing because I'm all about the honor. The honor of following my liege to the bitter end because I'm such a tragic character. Feel bad for me. Fuck you, Camus. Like, why the fuck would you side with the dragons that want us all to fucking die? You do realize that they're gonna destroy your kingdom at some point, right? Like, unless you assume that they're not, which, you know, fat fucking chance. Like, I've never been able to sympathize with Camus. And this is coming from somebody who has a mom who's extremely loyal to her country and has explained to me why, even though our country's going to shit, you know? Like, even then, I still kind of want to move to Canada. But yeah, I just don't sympathize with Camus, and I don't understand why he was such a popular character. Anyway, let's talk about the light orb, because I haven't really gone into much detail about that one. So Marth has it in this chapter, and basically what that does is it negates the effects of the dark sphere, which I don't think we encounter in book 1, and it also negates any of the enemy's terrain effects. So if they're on a mountain, normally that would give them plus 25 avoid, but if you're holding the light sphere, you just don't give a fuck about that shit, and you just straight up stab them in the face. I haven't really talked enough about the rest of my units. Basically, all they're gonna be doing is just killing time. It's worth noting that eventually, like, because I made some mistakes in how I handled the chapter, some of the enemies that spawn from these forts end up going after my other units, and I have to kind of, like, lure them back, which was only semi-successful because 2 of those cavaliers are still running over to Rena, putting Rena in huge danger, and then I have to shield her with Minerva. But yeah, anyway, the other units, Sheeta needs to recruit one of the generals. Like, I haven't talked about him, but his name is Big Boss. And he's very hesitant to join your team until Sheeta's just like, dude, yeah, you're serving the wrong side. Like, Big Boss, give him credit, he has some fucking common sense to actually, like, ooh, my country's doing bad shit, I'm not gonna stand behind it. But in this version of the game, the dialogue isn't that endearing. But if you look at the one in Shadow Dragon, Sheeta's all like, you know, you may want to serve your kingdom, but what is a kingdom without his country? And it just makes Sheeta look like such a fucking badass. You know, I've never subscribed to the whole action girl thing, like girls who kick ass and shit. And like you know, fight evil, like, by kicking their ass, literally. I always felt that was kind of overrated. I've always been fond of the female characters who use diplomacy and their smarts to, like, really get around. And, like, you know, basically get people on their side. And that's why I really like Sheeta as a character. She's even better in Shadow Dragon, where she just, like, she uses her just amazing diplomacy skills to get everybody on the fucking team, and it's awesome. But yeah, so Big Boss, he's not gonna show up yet. As you can see, Linda has started her mass genocide. This is gonna last for several turns. I cut most of it out. Yeah, so the rest of the team, I thought about visiting the shops in this chapter, but none of them have anything interesting, except for one of them has a hand axe, but, like, I have one axe user, and he's not that great at this point. Like, he's just a waste of time. And there's not even a secret shop as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, oh, here it comes, Metal Gear! General Big Boss, I'm Sheeta of Talus. My father told me a lot about you. His name is Liquid Snake. Oh yeah, you're pretty damn hot. You've got a nice butt. Meryl. Well, I mean, if you like my butt, join our team. Cause your dudes suck. They're not good. They're doing evil stuff. You got a point. Alright. I'll just use my box powers and sneak out of the enemy alliance. Alright, I'm trying too hard. Yeah, so he's just like, yeah, times have changed. Fuck it. I'm not serving this guy anymore, and then that's it. So yeah, it's worth noting that up to this point I forgot about support bonuses. You know, Sheeta and Marth, plus 10 hit, crit, and avoid. And here I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right, that thing exists. And then, you know, Marth versus Camus, here it comes. Let's see how it goes. It's worth noting that I did the support thing specifically because Camus has a crit rate no matter what you do. But if you do a support, it negates that, because you have that extra crit avoid. Yeah, so Camus is just like, hey, what's up, dude? And then Marth's just like, fuck you, you piece of shit! And that's with the rapier, too. That's like the weapon that Marth starts with, and he just fucks him up. It's awesome! And man, Camus... I gotta tell you, like, citing all that honor and bullshit about, like, oh, I gotta stick with my kingdom even as it's falling, that didn't seem to work out for you in the end. Instead, you got fucking humiliated by a fucking thin-ass sword wielded by a 15-year-old kid. My god. Oh, man. That's just sad. Oh, wait, Marth's 16. My bad. Well... no better way to honor Camus's death than by listening to this marching theme.